The stress of being an alcoholic, mind-blowing. It's not just the alcohol. That's just one of the things. You know, it's the lies, the fear, the never-ending cycle that you're trapped in. You're waking up anxious, you're hiding bottles, you're not performing well at work, you're not loving properly the people you should love. You become selfish, you become insular, you become a shadow of your former self. And when you slip into that, life becomes intolerable. It's torture, the best way I can describe it. And you're pretending always to be okay. You know you're not okay. When you go to the doctors, you pretend to be okay. Who tells the doctor how much to drink? To be fair, it wasn't until I was a bit older. And the doctor said, you must tell them what you drink, otherwise they can't diagnose you. That's a message to you all, really. If you've got alcohol issues, you must tell them what you're drinking. Most people, I've got a good friend with a GP, and he said that most people tell them about a third to a half of what they're really taking in. If you want to get off alcohol, you've got problems. You've got to tell them the truth. I want to go back a few years, well, a lot of years, when I first started in the Met Police and I started to use the underground. When I was very, very anxious after having a session, I would say. Because when you're younger, the anxiety doesn't really affect you that much, but when you have a large amount of alcohol, it creeps in, it creeps in quick. I used to sometimes think in the underground, God, I don't want to be in this tunnel, in this funnel, I felt a little bit trapped. I'd never done that before. It just crept up on me. All these anxieties and all these fears came into my life. Interspersed with that, I didn't want people to know I was drinking at work. It was it was a big drinking culture when I was in the Met. A lot of us drank, probably too much. And then as soon as I finished work, I used to have a few pints, and the tube ride, the underground ride back home was fine, because the anxiety was alleviated. But in time, the alcohol became more acute, and it gave me more anxiety in the end, and I couldn't get rid of the anxiety at all. I couldn't do anything, couldn't open post. When I retired later on in life, I just felt so anxious all the time. And I was so worried about myself, I didn't even go to the doctors. I was anxious about going there, about planning on public transport, about everything. And you get to the point where you can't function very well, and you're telling the relatives that, oh, I'm fine, My dad used to say to me when I used to come up from London, everything all right? He knew that I wasn't all right. He must have known. You drink too much. You've been out all weekend. You came up to Newcastle to see us, but all you've done is drink. You're letting your family down. And you feel guilty. The feeling of guilt and the lies that you tell is incredible. And we become good liars. We become very deceitful. We become good at hiding alcohol. We become good at hiding a lot of things, to be honest. Well, getting money out you shouldn't be getting out of the bank, ramming credit cards that you're not telling your spouse about, not dealing with things you should have dealt with, not paying for things, driving home no car tax sometimes, no MOT, whatever, taking risks, massive risks. You take a lot of risks when you're alcoholic, just to get the boozer. And this feeling of, some of you will relate to this, when you feel anxious, you're going to drink in, you get the off license. I feel very shaky and feel like everyone's looking at you. You get your stash, you put your stash in the back of the car, you walk back, and the feeling of getting back in the house and just turning the key and getting back in safe. You got your stash, and then everything around you is like all relaxed. And you sit down, you lie in the bed and have a few drinks, and the world's a better place. That's not living, is it? Being trapped like that, hiding all the time, pretending that things are all right, because they're not all right. You can't be yourself. It controls you so much. I look back, how it controlled my life for many, many years, and in the end it wanted to kill me. It's such a powerful drug. It's so available and so socially acceptable to get, rat-arsed on a Friday and Saturday and go on holiday, start drinking at the airport, drink all week, all 2 weeks, all 3 weeks, all month. And that must be the only country in the world where people quantify their holidays. What was your holiday? Oh, it was great. Probably £1 a pint or €1 a pint or whatever it was, we back to drink or whatever it is. No matter where you go in the world, you need alcohol to get on a plane, to get on a bus, to go for a walk. I've got a few one-to-one clients at the moment, and a lot of them are saying they have to drink before they go to a social event. One chap said he has to have a drink before he goes to a fitness class. I used to have to have a drink before I went to see the doctor. For every occasion, I had to have a drink. Of course, I didn't drink and drive. I couldn't drive in the end. I was so bad. But, I said the hiding the bottles, pretending to be okay, the anxiety of just speaking to people, that was another thing. But getting back to the years before when I was travelling and stuff like that, I was always waiting for the end of my shifts because I thought, well, that's the time to go and have a drink, thinking all my stresses will be gone. I had domestic issues, probably caused by the drink, I'm not sure. That's another story I'd go into. I took for 100 years about what problems alcohol has caused me, all the bad decisions that I made, things that I didn't deal with properly, which I can now deal with. I can live a good life now. I'm really happy now. I was never happy. That's another subject we talked about, really. You're happy when you're younger, I think. You have this first few sessions of alcohol and you have that buzz and you feel a bit more relaxed. You can talk to women or men if you're that way inclined or whatever. You're a woman, you can go and dance a bit and all this carry on. But I was quite shy when I was younger and it brought my real confidence out, I suppose. But when you start drinking too much and you hit that tipping point, then your confidence just depletes. You've got none. I had none in the end. And I was living in squalor. I had problems with my health, my mental health especially, which wasn't really dealt with, I don't think, particularly well. But I'm over that now. It's a big warning to people that the cycle you get yourself into is it's lies. You're pretending to others that everything's all right. You're hiding how much you drink. You never admit how much you drink. I do now, because I'm over it. And it's easy for me to sit here and think, well, I've been sober for years. I'm telling people, I'm advising people on how they can maybe stop, how they can stay sober, because that's most important. Not just getting sober. Getting sober is just the start of it all, isn't it? It's the staying sober that is the real issue. Because once you start to get sober, you've got to really keep it going like that. Most of the people I speak to will relapse, because I relapsed many times. It's just a pattern. Because when you stop drinking, you feel a bit better, you feel like you're getting your life back on track, you start to look a bit better, you start to eat a bit better, and you feel a bit better generally. You also save a bit of cash. So you might start dating again, you might start going out again, you might go on holiday again, and then you think, oh, just have that one, and that one drink will take you straight back. That one drink will lead to 1,000. And for me, if I had one, I know I would end up in hospital and probably not survive this time. There's a kindling effect every time you come off the alcohol and you relapse. Your withdrawals are much worse. I had seizures, I had all sorts of issues. I don't want you to get to that stage, because I personally should have reached out when I was much younger. I went to the doctor when I was about 30 with my wife, and the doctor recommended I stop drinking, basically. Didn't give any medication, didn't advise that. I didn't want to stop drinking then. You've got to do it for yourself. You've got to have a really big incentive to stop drinking, because believe you me, the stresses of the alcohol just are not worth the nightmare that you're going to go through, the nightmare you're going to put other people through, put yourself through, and the whole world is a dark place when you're an alcoholic. It really is. If you need any help with this, get in touch with me. If you benefit from the channel, please subscribe. I've got an ebook out as well. The link for that is in the description. And I wish you all well for a sober Sunday. Speak soon.